Hey guys, what's up? It's Fern. Thank you so much for joining me for another Plenty video. Today I'm going to be sharing my updated philodendron collection and I can't wait to show you. I love doing these collection videos. I know I've been like banging out a few lately. Philodendron is my favorite genus, so I think I have about 26 or 27 different species, and then I also have like some of them I have doubles, but I'll just be showing one plant for each species. Philodendron are so fantastic. It's such a diverse genus and they're also for the most part fairly easy to care for. So I will always love them very much. Let me know down below what your favorite genus is. I'm very curious. Let me know if you're with me on Team Philodendron. Okay, so I'm kind of going to be doing this in sections. So I'm going to be starting with the philodendron in my bedroom. Okay, so the first one is my Philodendron Micans, which is such a little cutie. I have had this for a few years now. I grew it from a one-leaf cutting and I recently took some propagations from it. You can see right there, there's a new little growth point that's coming in. Oh, there we go. So I'm very excited to have a new vine coming out of this. I'm so stoked to see that. The propagations that I took from this are currently in my perlite box, so I will be adding them back into this plant probably pretty soon, probably within the next couple of weeks. Yeah, I'm just really trying to make a fuller and larger pot of this. You can see some beautiful new leaves in the top there. The top of this plant is just so pretty. It has been putting out like new vines and whatnot. Such a beautiful plant. I did struggle with this for a while, like I just couldn't really get it to grow. I also struggled with propagating it, but I found that perlite works amazing for propagating Philodendron Micans. This is one of the few, actually this might be the only trailing philodendron that I am currently growing. Most of my philodendrons I grow climbing. So it's really nice to have this guy just doing his trailing thing here. I know that these do love to climb, but yeah, I'm just enjoying it as a trailing little hanging basket. This hangs on my bed. Okay, next we have my Philodendron McDowell right here. It's actually getting kind of big and oh my goodness, you guys, look at this new leaf it is giving me. It looks like it's going to be massive. So this is a plant that I've never particularly, it looked like there was a bug, but I don't think it is. This is a plant that I have never particularly loved, but it is slowly winning my heart over, and I was actually considering like trading it off or selling it, but I think I'm gonna keep it because I keep seeing other people's like mature versions of this, like Caitlin's from Plant Life in the Tropics. It's freaking amazing. So I'm just like, maybe I should hold on to it and see how it grows. And now it's giving me this leaf that looks like it's going to be fairly impressive. So I am slowly warming up to this plant. I don't know why I didn't. I've never really liked it. It's just like kind of plain, I guess. I feel bad saying that because there's beauty in simplicity, but just compared to some of my like more striking or velvety kind of philodendrons, and mine, this plant isn't in like the greatest condition. I went through the whole thrips thing and had to do a bunch of treatments and whatnot, so this plant is one that will probably be looking better in a couple of months. But yeah, it is slowly growing on me, and this thing grows fast as well, which is actually something that I really like about it. Like, it seems to always be working on a new leaf. I would say I get one per month maybe, which is pretty good, especially for leaves of this size. And yeah, it is a crawler. You can see its roots. Look at that, like juicy one going in there. Very satisfying to look at. Yeah, so Philodendron McDowell. Also, sometimes I get questions about this eyeball pot. I made this in one of my spooky repot videos from October, so I can link that down below if you want to go check it out. But yeah, the sun is moving and I'm gonna have to keep moving my camera over slightly. Alright, next is this little cutie. This is my Philodendron Jungle Boogie, or Philodendron Narrow. This is just a little one-leafer. This was sent to me so kindly from my friend Abigail from The Pursuit of Joy. She has a Planty YouTube channel as well. She sent me a few plants. This was one of them. It's only one leaf. I know it's been a while, but I'm not really sure what's going on with it because it's been like trying to put out a new leaf for a very long time now, and I think that I kind of messed this up because I waited too long to pot this up. Like, I had this in water for months, like a long time, and it was trying to put out new leaves, and I really should have just transferred it to soil, but I just didn't get around to it. So now I'm hoping it's just going to figure itself out, and I don't know if that leaf is ever going to come to be, but I'm hoping it'll end up giving me another leaf and then it will just kind of grow from there. So we will see what happens, but very cute philodendron. These look amazing when they get big as well. They have a really cool growth pattern. Yeah, so I'm really happy that I have it. Next is one of my current favorites. This is my philodendron Florida Ghost. Yes, it is wearing a sock, a Halloween sock. I have this growing in pond, so that's just to keep the light out so that I'm not dealing with a whole bunch of algae. This is my new thing, putting socks on my plants. But yeah, I've been showing this plant a little bit recently. I'm really loving it lately. I love the coloring, how it's that kind of like minty green. It's just so pretty. Looks like it is going to be giving me a new leaf sometime soon as well. Seems super happy in pond. I love that we're getting this more mature leaf shape, so I'm very excited to watch this plant grow up. Next is another favorite. This is my Philodendron billietiae. Look at how crazy he is. Oh my goodness, I like can't even get this all in frame. Where's the newest leaf? This one. You guys would have seen this come out. This came out maybe like 1 or 2 months ago, and the leaves are getting like pretty large, you guys. Like, oh man, in comparison to my hand, like that's pretty long. I'm quite impressed. I love this plant very much. I find this to be definitely one of the easiest philodendron I've ever grown. It does great in like any type of conditions that I give it. It's very hardy. I don't think I've ever lost a leaf on it. Like it's never just like yellowed and lost a leaf. It can go a long time between waterings. Wow, this is really pretty. I haven't like looked at this close up yet. This is on like my bottom shelf in my bedroom, so, oh my god, is that scale? No, I don't think it is. I'm just noticing how striking this vein down the middle is. That is so pretty. Such an incredible plant. Definitely recommend. Very beginner friendly. I feel like this will probably benefit from a pole or just some sort of stake in the future, but since the internodal spacing is pretty tight, it's not really needing any type of support yet, which is nice because I just have more time before I have to worry about that. But yeah, Philodendron billietiae. Alright, so the last type of philodendron that I have growing in my bedroom is my Philodendron Silver Sword or Philodendron HASTATUM. I won't talk too much about this because it's one of my absolute favorites. I feel like I've talked about it a lot already. I have this plant featured in a couple of my recent videos because I recently propagated it, and I did want to show you guys that I'm finally getting a little bit of root action. Do you see that right there? Yeah, so something is happening, which is really good. Wow, that new growth point looks cool too. I did receive quite a few comments from you guys saying that you have also struggled with propagating this plant, which is interesting because I've propagated it once before and I didn't have any problems, but this time it's just being a bit more picky. However, since we are in the winter, I guess I shouldn't be too surprised. I do also have 2 containers of wet sticks propagating of this, so one day I'm gonna have a full large silver sword again, but this is what we're working with at the minute. We're having to move around because of the sun, you guys, so if the angle keeps changing, that's why. Alright, next I'm gonna cover the philodendron that I have in my living room outside of the cabinet. So these ones are just like chilling in room conditions, regular room humidity and whatnot. Alright, so the first one is my Philodendron squamiferum, who is such a little cutie. Look at those hairy petioles. I love a good hairy petiole, honestly, like one of my favorite plant features. Yeah, so this guy I recently propagated, and then I added the babies back in. I just did this like last week or something. Let's see if you can see better. Right there, there's one baby, there's one leaf here, and then he's putting out a second one there, and then on the other side I put another cutting into here. So this pot is going to have three separate plants growing in it. Eventually I do want to get this on a moss pole so I can get some large leaves. These look incredible when they're massive and mature. It's just such a cool plant. I love it so much. This sits on my desk, so I get to look at it a lot, which is really nice. The corner of my desk that it lives on, there's not a lot of natural light that hits that area, so I do have a mother plant spectrum grow light in front of it, just kind of supplementing, because I have a few plants just chilling in that corner. And it seems to really enjoy it, so yeah, can't wait to see this get a little bit larger and fuller once these propagations establish in here. So far they're doing well, but like I said, it's only been like a week or so since I potted them in there. But yeah, really fun one. Another close up here, look at that. It's just so cool. Okay, and then this guy is right beside me actually. So this is my Philodendron Splendid, which is a hybrid of Philodendron VERRUCOSUM and melanochrysum. This is one of my favorite plants ever. It's so freaking beautiful. Mine looks a little right now because I recently propagated this and then potted it into this pot because I want to grow it up a moss pole. So this is still very fresh. It's not super established yet. It's gonna look a lot better once I start getting some extra leaves and I can pin these up on the moss pole, but nonetheless, it is a very beautiful plant and this grows incredibly, incredibly fast. I find that these leaves have almost like a blue tint. Like it's so beautiful, especially when they get mature. It's just such a stunning plant. So this is one that I kind of have to wait a little bit to get some payoff, but I think it's going to be so worth it. I love growing my philodendron climbing, like I said. So yeah, definitely a project that I'm excited to watch over the next year or so. Behind me is my philodendron camposportoanum. This is a really, oh my god, there's a bug on it. Oh, it's just a fungus gnat. That literally, like, my soul just left my body. Okay, yes, my philodendron camposportoanum. What was I saying? This is a plant that is really cool because the leaf shape changes so much as it matures. It gets some really emphasized lobes and it just looks really cool. It's such a pretty plant as well. Like I love the coloring, and then the backs are kind of a darker purpley color. As you can see, this is also one that I'm trying to grow up a moss pole. I would love to see those more mature leaves. There's something on these leaves and I'm not sure what it is. If you look, at first I thought it might be dried neem oil, but it's kind of like gritty. This has been treated for pests, so I don't know like what pest that would be. That's very bizarre. I'm gonna be spraying this off after this video again because I don't know what that is. It doesn't seem to be bothering the leaves, but that's weird. We have a new little leaf coming in right there, which is very cute. This guy is kind of at the point where he's just getting established and starting to give me some new growth since I chopped, propped, and then potted this in here. I probably potted this up like, I don't know, a couple of months ago, maybe 6 to 8 weeks ago. So it is slowly getting established. We have another new leaf coming in on this side right there. Very cute. Yeah, can't wait to see it grow. Definitely need to wash it off though. I'm not sure what is going on. Okay, so the next one is my philodendron subhastatum, which we recently propagated this together as well. As you can see, I have several cuttings in here, and oh my goodness, this thing is really rooting up now. Look at that, you guys. We can probably pot this in a couple of weeks' time, which is very exciting. We also, I noticed, are getting a new leaf on that one. Can you see that? Yeah, there's a new leaf coming out right there. And we also have a growth point. Where was that? I did see one. Oh, right here. I don't know if you'll be able to see on the camera. Let me try to maneuver this. Yeah, there you can see that little growth point. How cute is that? Another one that I really want to get onto a pole, this is what I tend to do with my philodendron, is I tend to grow them out a bit, chop them all up so that I have several different cuttings, and then I go ahead and pot them up with a moss pole so that I can grow a climbing plant, but a full climbing plant rather than just one vine that's going up. So yeah, I've really been enjoying that, and I think that it is something that really pays off if you're willing to put like a year or two into it. It's quite the project from like start to finish, but yeah, I'll show you actually a good example of that next. Okay, so next is my Philodendron Brazil, which as you can see is quite a full pot here. Oh man, it's so pretty. I love this plant so much. I love Philodendron Brazil, and I'm especially enjoying growing it climbing. These are most commonly seen trailing. They're usually sold in like a pretty full trailing basket as well. But as you can see, mine is on a moss pole, quite a tall moss pole at that. And yeah, this is one of my projects where I did exactly that. I cut up the mother. These large leaves down here were from the mother. Propagated her and then potted them all up together, and now I've got this full plant that's starting to climb, and it's just so cool to watch the progress of it. I'm finally getting some larger leaves as well. Like I can see that they're just starting to size up, which is very exciting. I think that this is going to look absolutely phenomenal once it grows up this moss pole. Like, can you imagine? Oh, it's gonna be so cool. And if I'm able to get some of these larger leaves again, it would be so epic. So it's something that I get so excited every time I see all of these new leaves going up the pole, because it's just, I can't wait to see the end result of this. definitely something that I've invested some time into, and yeah, it's very rewarding to watch it grow. Although I am seeing that we're starting to get roots coming out the bottom, and I'm a little nervous to repot this on the pole. I mean, I'm sure it's possible. Probably the more root bound it gets, the easier it will be, so I'll probably still leave it for quite a while, but yeah, that'll be interesting. I'll probably film when I do that. Okay, so next we have a little, I'm not positive on the ID of this, but I think that this is a juvenile Philodendron Marx fantasy. This was grown from a wet stick in my prop box, and I don't label my perlite prop boxes. I literally just like throw in all these wet sticks. So when things sprout up, sometimes it's easy to identify them, but sometimes I'm not really sure. This is my best guess for this plant. It has this really cool half moon leaf, as you can see. It's freaking gorgeous. I can't wait to see it grow. I just potted this up about a week ago. This leaf was entirely variegated, and it looks like it's heading out the door, which is to be expected, so I'm not too upset about it. But yeah, can't wait to see it grow. So far it's doing well. Lives in front of my south-facing window on top of my Millsbow wide. And yeah, not too much to say about that other than I think it's Philodendron Marx variegata, and I will keep you guys updated as it grows. It'll be really cool to see. Okay, so now we're covering the philodendron that live in my Millsbow wide cabinet that you can see right here. So they do live in more of like greenhouse conditions. And the first one I have to show you, I show this a lot on my channel, so I won't really talk about it, but it is my Philodendron Painted Lady, one of my all-time favorite philodendron, which is why I show it on my channel so much, and it's really getting some of those beautiful, more mature leaves. I love this plant so much. I think it's very underrated, and you need to see them in person because the variegation and the coloring is just so stunning. This like orange and green, and then the pink petioles, also just a super easy plant to grow. As you can see, mine is climbing up this moss pole, and it's very happy, always putting out a new leaf. Also, I thought I would mention here because I'm just looking at it. See, I said I wasn't going to talk about it, and here I am talking about it. This leaf I broke off. This happened, oh my goodness, how long ago, you guys? It was a long time. This happened probably in October, I'm gonna guess. It was in the fall. I completely snapped this leaf off, and people were telling me to tape it, so I did. The tape is still on there, and it like repaired itself. It never died off. It looks perfectly fine, so pretty amazing. Definitely like a hack for you to try out if you ever break a leaf off. But yeah, okay, Philodendron Painted Lady, my beautiful, beautiful girl. All right, next we have my Philodendron Gloriosum, as you can see here. This one I've grown from a little tiny baby plant, so it's been really rewarding to watch it, and look at this new leaf that it's putting out. Oh, I cannot wait to see that open. It looks like it's going to be pretty big, so I'm really excited to see that. I'm not gonna lie, I've kind of struggled with Philodendron Gloriosum a bit. It was doing really well, and then I guess maybe it was when I repotted it. I suppose it just took some time to acclimate to its new situation, but it seems to be happy again. It gave me this leaf not long ago. It was stuck, so it does have a little bit of damage, but this new leaf should be pristine, so I cannot wait to see that. Again, this one is a crawler, so you can see her crawling along the pot there. Really cool. She did recently get a bunch of spots. This is from the extra floral nectaries. A lot of philodendron can get that, and it can be a sign of pests, so I did give this a pest treatment, and they aren't there as much anymore. So I have read that when philodendron increase their extra floral nectaries, it can be a sign of pests because they're increasing it in an attempt to attract ants, because the ants will come and drink the extra floral nectaries, and then they'll also take care of the pests that are on the plant. Kind of interesting. So since I read that, whenever I see an increase in them, then I just do a pest treatment just in case. But yeah, fun plant to grow. These can get really big, of course, so that is the goal. We will see. Right now, mine is still quite small. All right, next we have another one of my favorites, and it is my Philodendron melanochrysum. This is a plant that, again, I completely chopped up, propagated. I actually did a bit of a propagation experiment with this. I tried propagating it in different mediums and documented the whole process. So I have been working on a video regarding propagating and potting up this plant and everything. It's been in the works for like, I don't know, 8 months or something, and I'm just waiting for this to grow a little bit more before I release it. But yeah, I love this plant so much. It is my goal to eventually get larger leaves on this. I know that this one is notorious for being difficult to get those more mature leaves. I don't think I'm ever gonna have like the massive leaves, but if I could just get them like a little bit big, that would just be so cool. This plant did, unfortunately, a lot of these actually did have thrips this winter, so you can see this vine is a good example. There's thrip damage here. I had to cut that leaf off, and then it gave off like this tiny deformed one, which is because of thrips as well. This is a really good indication. If you are getting leaves like this, just like for no reason, it is an indicator of thrips, so just watch out. They'll come for you. But as you can see, I treated this plant and now I'm getting more of these beautiful, healthy leaves. Look at that. It's just so pretty. I love how they're like this rusty kind of orange color when they first come out. There's another new leaf on this side as well. I'm just so relieved and happy that this plant is recovering and giving me healthy leaves again. Oh, this leaf is just so pretty. Look at that. This plant is just, it's so stunning. I know a lot of people don't like melanochrysum because they can be a bit finicky to grow. The key is humidity. I don't have any problems with them as long as they're getting enough humidity. If they aren't, then they are going to have problems with leaves sticking and whatnot. If you do have problems growing this plant, but you love it, I would suggest trying one of its hybrids like the Glorious or the Splendid. Both of them grow a lot better and easier than just the straight up melanochrysum. Okay, next I have something a little bit different here that I don't really show on this channel because it's still quite young, but this is a Philodendron Mexicanum that I grew from wet stick, and this is what it's looking like. You can see it has those purple backs. This is a really cool plant, especially as it gets larger. I got this as an import from Root Greenhouse, I'm gonna say. It was in the summer right before I moved here, and these were literally like still acclimating during my move, so I chopped them all up and just grew them back from wet sticks because I just didn't think that the leaves were really going to tolerate being shipped here. It was delayed. It was like 10 days in shipping in the heat of summer, plus I was moving, so it was a lot of stress on these plants, so I just wet sticked everybody. And now I am starting to get some little baby plants from that. So yeah, really excited to see this plant mature. It's gonna be so cool. They get these beautiful long slender leaves. Something else exciting, you guys, is this little fellow. Okay, so this is tiny, I know, but this is my Philodendron Marx Fantasy. Oh my, this is one of my favorite philodendron, more so when people have like large, more mature versions of this. It is so extremely beautiful. So the reason mine is so small, I got this plant about a year ago. I actually think that I got this with my Philodendron El Choco Red, which is hilarious, like looking at the size difference between them. But I got these both and I did a live unboxing. I'll link it down below if you haven't seen it. But this was quite tiny when I got it, like probably not much bigger than this. Anyways, fast forward, it grew pretty well. It was quite a vigorous grower, so it got pretty tall. It was still like a small young plant, but it had grown pretty tall. I ended up deciding to sell it when I moved for, I don't even know why. I don't know, I was just on a selling binge. However, I didn't think I could part with the entire plant because I still really wanted to have this one in my collection, so I took a cutting, and this is the cutting that I took. So I had to propagate it. It was in my perlite prop box for months, and then I potted this up a couple months ago, and now I'm finally getting a new leaf. So I'm so over the moon about it because I wasn't sure if this was actually gonna grow. It just like wasn't doing anything for months. But now I have that new leaf, so I'm so happy. Yeah, it's just so pretty. I know mine doesn't look like much right now, but these are phenomenal. Whew, this is gonna be a long video, isn't it? Okay, this is my Philodendron Tortum. Look at how crazy he is. Oh man, such a cool plant. I know this one isn't for everybody. They're pretty spindly and weird. Look at this new leaf that he's giving me. This was part of the reasons that I was really drawn to and wanted Philodendron Tortum, because I love the way that these new leaves look. Like they just look like they're just contorted so crazy, and they just look like creepy and weird. So yeah, I love it very, very much. I do have two of these. My other one is in my self-watering pot. I think I am going to be potting them together pretty soon, but yeah, this is just, oh man, I need to get this on a moss pole as well. You can see it's kind of starting to vine up a little bit. Yeah, I love this plant so much. It's so different and quite rewarding to grow. It's just, yeah, I love it. And I did grow this from wet stick as well also because mine rotted and I had to chop it up. So yeah, feels good to see it turning into a plant again. Okay, so next we have a very special one, and it is my Philodendron Florida Beauty. Yeah, if you're new here, I had this growing up a pole. It was getting pretty big. It got thripped quite badly, and I recently had to chop it up entirely, so I just have propagations now. There are some really beautiful leaves in here though. Oh my goodness, I just love it so much. So I did want to take this opportunity to give a little root update here because I am getting some root growth, which I'm so relieved about. Look at that, there's even a growth point coming in. Where is it? There's a couple growth points actually, but that one's pretty big down at the bottom there. So I'm very happy to say that this plant is doing quite well. This one is the only one that doesn't really have roots yet, but I can see them just like starting to form. You can see it gets like white at the tip there. So yeah, really happy that this is doing okay. It's even trying to give me like a new leaf right there from that one. One of my favorite plants, definitely going to be growing this out again. I do have some wet sticks propagating as well. Oh yeah, I did have them in sphagnum in this cabinet. If you watched that video, that's what I did. They weren't doing anything and I was getting worried, so I did end up putting them in my prop box, or my perlite prop box, I mean. Haven't checked on them in a couple of weeks, so hopefully they're doing something now. Yeah, at least we have these cuttings for sure, if they aren't, so it's all good. And then the last type of philodendron that I have growing in my Millsbow wide is this guy right here. This is just a little philodendron burl Marx. This was actually part of the variegated one, or the one that I thought was Philodendron burl Marx variegata. This was another part of that. I can even see some variegation on the stem. Anyways, as you can see, these leaves are green. This plant has a high risk of reversion, at least from my experience, because I did have a variegated one before and it ended up turning out to be a completely green plant. It was beautiful and like lush, but absolutely no variegation. So that's what's happening with this as well, although it does have some growth points down there that haven't really given leaves yet, so there is a possibility that those ones will be variegated, but for now I'm just considering this to be a green version, which is totally fine with me. Really pretty plant regardless. Okay, you guys, we are on to the last batch of plants. They are the philodendron that live in my Millsbow tall cabinet. If you have made it this far in the video, thank you so much. Leave me a sun emoji down below if you're still watching. Alright, these are some of my favorite philodendron in my collection that I keep in this cabinet, and the first one is my Philodendron VERRUCOSUM. I show this plant all the time. I'm so sorry. I am obsessed. This is my baby. This is the newest leaf. This just unfurled within the past couple of days and it is looking incredible. Look at that. Oh, this is the nicest leaf that this plant has given me and I can't stop looking at it. It's the biggest one by far as well. That's in comparison to my hand. I grew this plant from a little baby, so it's just so cool to see, and it's giving me hairy petioles now, as you can see right there. It is just, oh, it's such a special plant. I love it so much. This is the last new leaf it gave me on the second vine. I have 2 vines growing in here. I've talked about this plant so much, so I won't blabber on about it, but currently air layering it, preparing for a chop, and yeah, I admire it every day. I'm obsessed. Philodendron VERRUCOSUM, one of my all-time favorites. Next, we have the newest plant in my collection, which is my Philodendron SP Silver. This plant is so pretty. I was honestly shocked when I unboxed this, you guys, because I was just blown away by it. I didn't expect it to be this pretty. Like, everything is perfect about it. The color is absolutely beautiful. Like, the finish of it, it's like a satin kind of finish, and the depth of the veining, it's so like voluminous. What's the word for it? I don't know, but it's very pretty. I don't have anything like it in my collection, so I was really happy that I chose to buy it as like my last plant purchase for a year. So yeah, it was very worth it to me, and I'm so excited to watch it grow. It is in a chunky potting mix. I potted it in this mix about a month ago, I would say, and I do have some root growth, just like little roots that are happening, so that's always good to see. But yeah, don't really have much to say because I don't have a lot of experience with this plant yet, other than it looks beautiful. I just love it. You guys know that I love silver plants, so I had to have it in my collection. All right, next is another little baby, and this is my Philodendron brandtianum. Yeah, mine is quite small. I grew this from a cutting that I received in the fall in a trade that I did, and I potted it up, I don't know, maybe a couple of months ago now, and it's been living in my cabinet. I've just been waiting for it to grow, and as you can see, I am finally getting a new leaf, so I just can't wait to see that. This plant it's kind of funny because this was on my original plants that I don't like video, and I was dragging it, and then just, I don't know, something changed, and I was like, what? This plant is beautiful, and I decided that I needed one, so I'm glad that I was able to trade for it. I think I was just like seeing photos on Instagram where it looked really beautiful, and I was like, dang, like I really want to give it a try. I hear that they can be quite finicky, especially with humidity, which is why I have it living in the cabinet. So I don't know, it seems happy so far. This leaf was just kind of damaged from the get-go, so that's why it's kind of like weird, but gave me that leaf in the prop box, and then that one it's given me recently. So I can't wait to see this grow. And yeah, it's funny how our minds can change like that, but yeah, I love it now, so. Okay, next is my Philodendron Gigas, which I am also obsessed with. This is one of my favorites. How many times will I say that about every single plant in my collection? I don't know. But I love this plant so much. I was really struggling with it. Its roots rotted. I had to propagate it. It was giving me like damaged leaves like this, and then I finally got a new leaf that is in pretty good condition. It does have a little bit of cosmetic damage, but overall it is beautiful, and I love it. I love it so, so much. I'm so into this plant. I love the shape. The shape changes as it matures, but in like the juvenile form. A lot of plants you have to wait until they grow up to kind of like, I don't know, see cool features and whatnot, but the shape of this I love just right from the get-go, right from it being juvenile. I love like the lack of sinus up here. It's so pretty, and I love how this plant, I don't even know how to describe, but like the way it lays, like it comes out and then it's just like very flat. I don't know, it's just so satisfying and beautiful. Is stunning, like velvety philodendron, kind of has like a melanochrysum-esque look, but these are easier to grow than melanochrysum, so definitely recommend, although you can see I've struggled with mine a little bit, but in general, from what I've heard, they're usually pretty easy to grow. But yeah, I just love it so much, and I'm super stoked to see this nice leaf come out. We already have another one that is on the way up there, just starting to poke out, so very exciting. Next, we have another one that I talk about and show all the time. I actually recently did a video all about this plant and how I've grown it to be this size and all about it, so you can go watch that if you want more information on this plant. But this is my Philodendron El Choco Red, and I'm honestly obsessed with this. One of my top favorite, I can't stop saying it, philodendron, but it honestly is. This is like top 5 for me for sure. Yeah, as you can see, it speaks for itself. It's just so stunning and velvety and beautiful. The leaves are getting massive on it. The backs still have a little bit of that red coloring. I have a new leaf that is going to be emerging from there any day now, which is very exciting. Yeah, this has been such a joy to grow. Probably one of my most exciting plants of 2021, just watching it kind of upsize, and yeah, it's made me so happy. So yeah, I love it so much. My Philodendron El Choco Red. All right, is this the last one? I think that this is the last one, and it's a good one. Another one of this is a more recent favorite for me. Actually, I've been really appreciating this recently, but this is my Philodendron Glorious, which is a hybrid between Philodendron melanochrysum and Philodendron gloriosum, and it's so beautiful. Now that I'm starting to get these larger kind of leaves, first of all, this thing grows like a beast. Like, it's constantly growing for me. I've only had this since September, I'm going to say. This was given to me by a friend, which was so nice, but this is the last leaf it gave me, and it's pretty big. Like, for something that's not on a pole or anything, like, it's sized up pretty significantly since the small leaves that I had in the fall. It's been very easy for me to grow so far. As you can see, we have another leaf that is like just unfurling here. I cannot wait to see it. I know it's going to be just as pretty as the last one. This has been such a joy to watch grow. I'm thinking that I'll probably end up propping this and doing the moss pole thing that I always do, or I might try just putting it on a stake, because I've seen a lot of people just like stake these and have them grow up just as long as it has a support. I might actually experiment with that, because I'm being overrun a little bit with moss poles, so I'm trying to be like more picky with what I do. But what's cool about this is that it's actually a climber Philodendron gloriosum, which is one of the parents, is a crawler, and I'm okay with having a couple of crawlers, but it's not my favorite like growth pattern. So it's nice that you can have some of those characteristics, but in a climber. So I really like that about this. If you like the look of gloriosum, but you don't want a crawler either, you can opt for this guy, which is really cool. Okay, you guys, oh my goodness, that was quite the video. Thank you so much if you made it to the end. I hope that you enjoyed seeing all of my philodendron. As you can probably tell, I love them so much. They're such a joy to grow. They truly make me so happy. And I feel like I'm at a place where I'm really content with my collection. Like of course there are other philodendron that I love and that are on my wish list that I would trade for in the future. But for the most part, I'm so thankful for all of the plants that I have, and it's such a joy to watch them grow every day and to take care of them. It's truly such an honor to have such amazing plants in my home. Make sure you leave me a comment down below. I would love to chat with you. I always love chatting about my philodendron, and I'd love to hear about yours. Thank you so much for watching. Also, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. I really appreciate it. All right, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!
Try